When Hazrat Umar was stabbed, he collapsed to the ground. The attacker, Firoz, attempted to flee from the mosque, but as the Muslims rushed to stop him, he turned that same dagger on himself and ended his own life. The Muslims carried Hazrat Umar to his home, but when they offered him date water and milk, the liquids began flowing back out through his wounds instead of staying down. Upon seeing this, his physician looked at him and said, "O Commander of the Faithful, remember Allah, for your survival is no longer possible." When Hazrat Umar heard the news of his own approaching death, his mind immediately turned to one single question: who would lead the Muslim Caliphate? At that time, the greatest superpower on earth. After him, his ministers, generals, and senior companions began gathering at his side. One man stepped forward and said, "O Commander of the Faithful, you have been the greatest Caliph in the world, and the tradition of the world is that a king's son succeeds him. So appoint your son, Abdullah bin Umar, as the next Caliph." Hearing this, Hazrat Umar looked at him and said, "May Allah destroy you. What a shameful thought. Never, not once in my entire life, have I wished for this caliphate to remain within my family." He did not want the leadership of the Muslims controlled by a single dynasty, the way the Roman and Persian empires were ruled. Having publicly excluded his own son, the people of Medina wondered, who would Hazrat Umar nominate? Finally, he called his son to his side and said, "Write this down. I consider only 6 men worthy of becoming the next Caliph." These were no ordinary individuals. All 6 belonged to the group of 10 companions whom the Prophet himself had given glad tidings of paradise during his lifetime, known as the Ashra Mubashara, the 10 blessed companions. Of those 10, Hazrat Umar himself was one, and 2 others had already passed away. From the remaining 7, Hazrat Umar nominated 6, deliberately leaving 1 out. That companion was Sa'id bin Zaid, Hazrat Umar's own cousin from the same tribe. Once again, Hazrat Umar refused to let the caliphate fall into the hands of any single family, even his own. He also instructed that his son Abdullah bin Umar be included in the council, but strictly forbidden from becoming Caliph himself. Before passing away, Hazrat Umar gave clear and firm instructions. Immediately after his burial, these 6 companions were to be locked inside a house in Medina. They would have exactly 3 days, and 3 days only, to choose the next Caliph. 50 armed guards would stand outside to protect them. This arrangement also made sure that none of the 6 could meet with their own tribal members. No outside influence, no pressure, so that each man could choose freely. Then came his final command. Once these 6 companions agree on a caliph, every single person must accept that decision, and whoever refuses, let his head be cut off. In this way, Hazrat Umar established what historians consider one of the earliest structured electoral systems in history, not just in Islamic history, but in the entire world. Before leaving this world, he left one final piece of advice for the incoming Caliph. "O new Caliph of the Muslims, always fear Allah. Take special care of the Muhajirin and the Ansar. Protect the non-Muslims living under your rule, just as you would protect your Muslim brothers. And never place your own relatives over the necks of the people." As soon as Hazrat Umar was buried, the 6 companions gathered, and the process began. 3 of them had served as military commanders. The other 3 were civilians. The 3 military companions stepped aside from the race entirely and cast their votes for the civilians. Zubair, R.A., gave his vote to. Hazrat Ali, R.A. Talha, R.A., gave his vote to. Uthman, R.A. Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, R.A., gave his vote to. Abdurrahman bin Auf. 3 names remained: Abdurrahman, Uthman, and Ali. Then Abdurrahman bin Auf stood up and announced, "I do not wish to become Caliph." And just like that, the choice came down to two men, Uthman and Ali. Hazrat Uthman was nearly 70 years old. Hazrat Ali was only 45, a difference of roughly 25 years. The entire decision now rested on the shoulders of one man, Abdurrahman bin Auf, who had not yet cast his vote. Carrying this enormous responsibility, he went out into Medina and consulted everyone, senior companions, military commanders, the women of Medina, the youth, and even enslaved people, asking each of them, who should lead the Muslims? After all of this, he concluded, no one in the entire Arab world was more deserving than either Uthman or Ali. But he noticed one thing. Among the general population, Uthman held a slightly higher level of popularity. Why? Because Hazrat Uthman was not only a companion of the Prophet, peace be upon him, he was also the wealthiest man in the entire Caliphate, known far and wide for his extraordinary generosity. The common people loved him for it. There was another factor too. Hazrat Umar had been a strict and firm ruler for 10 years. Hazrat Uthman, by contrast, was known to be a gentle, soft-hearted man, the complete opposite of Umar. And everyone knew Hazrat Ali would likely rule with that same strictness. Then Abdurrahman went to Uthman and asked, "If you were in my position, who would you choose as Caliph?" Hazrat Uthman replied, "I would choose Ali." He then went to Hazrat Ali and asked the same question. Hazrat Ali replied, "I would choose Uthman." When the 3 days came to an end, the Muslims of Medina gathered for Fajr prayer at Masjid an-Nabawi, all waiting in tense silence to learn who their new caliph would be. The mosque was so packed that even Hazrat Uthman himself could not find a seat near the front and had to sit at the very back. The entire mosque fell into complete silence. Abdurrahman bin Auf stood before them all. After a long and heartfelt dua, he called Hazrat Ali forward first, took his hand, and asked, "O Ali, will you follow Allah, His Messenger, and the path of Abu Bakr and Umar?" Hazrat Ali replied, "I will do as much as I am able." Then he called Hazrat Uthman forward. He took his hand and asked the same question. Hazrat Uthman replied with complete certainty, "By Allah, I will." Abdurrahman bin Auf raised both hands toward the sky and declared, "O Allah, the responsibility you placed upon me, I today hand over to Uthman." And so, Uthman bin Affan became the third Caliph of the Muslims. The first to pledge allegiance was Hazrat Ali himself, who walked forward and placed his hand in Uthman's. The rest of the mosque followed. Hazrat Uthman ascended the pulpit of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and delivered his first address, calling the people to leave behind the love of this world and prepare for the life to come. At nearly 70 years of age, his very first act as Caliph was to raise the salaries of every soldier and government official in the Caliphate. He then sent letters from Medina to the governors of Kufa, Basra, Damascus, and Alexandria, making clear that although Hazrat Umar was gone, this caliphate would continue to run exactly as it had under him. When those letters arrived, the governors were stunned because for the first time, they were not reading the words of Umar bin Khattab, but of Amir-ul-Mu'mineen, Uthman bin Affan. And with that, a new era began. The Caliphate of Uthman, R.A.